Hello, we are in this series on resilience. Welcome to Time with the Captain. I'm Shane. If I haven't introduced myself before, I work in an EMS system up here in northern Colorado, and right now we're on to session 5 in a series of 6 called Resilience. The first 4 been kind of heavy, so now I'm going to give you the tools, hopefully, to get out of the struggle. Last week's episode on suicidal, it's imperative you watch it. Jesus is imperative to be in your life on that. And I talk about a lot of things, but one of the biggest, there's 2 things I've talked about in that episode, in episode 4, that pull us out of that. And one of those is faith. The other one is hope. So the Bible has a lot to say about faith, believe it or not. I know you're surprised. So we're going to come out of that heaviness and hopefully into some light here. Hebrews chapter 11 is the great faith chapter. It's phenomenal. So we're going to read a lot of in and out of Hebrews chapter 11. We're going to start with chapter 11, verse 1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." So it gives us a definition of what faith is. And I put in my notes, it says, to be resilient, we need to have faith. You have faith in anything, right? If you look at it from a very simplistic standpoint, the minute you put your key in the car, you have faith that your battery's not dead and it's going to start, right? There's a faith that that's going to happen. When you buckle on your seatbelt and you're driving down the road, you have a faith that your car is going to get you from point A to point B, right? I think a practical sense of faith is we put faith in a lot of things, which is mind-boggling sometimes when I have conversations with people about Jesus. Is like, you can put your faith that an elevator is not going to drop you 7 stories down and kill you. But the one guy that can save you forever, we don't want to put our faith in that. So those are interesting conversations. And the people I have those conversations with, I love dearly because they've sharpened me a little bit and made me think, what is my faith? But faith truly pulls us out of that darkness. Jesus pulls us out of that through our faith in him. It says to be resilient, we need to have faith. Even atheists have faith that God doesn't exist, right? It takes a lot more faith, in my opinion, that says that none of this exists than it does to say, okay, I can concede that some of this does exist, that some of these things did happen. Humans will place their faith in something. It's what we were created to do. God created us to have this faith, right? The Bible talks about faith of the mustard seed, talks about faith to move mountains, faith to get through things. You hear stories all the time that people combine their faith and their hope together and their cancer goes away because they have this positive attitude and faith that it's going to go away, and it does. So faith is a very powerful tool. And to break down what I talked about in Hebrews 11, it says Hebrews is faith is substance and evidence. Hope is a monumental item that is coupled with faith. We are hoping to get healed. We have hope in a better future. We have hope that whatever odd circumstances we're in will change. We have hope in the purity of our jobs, and we have hope that Jesus is real. I can promise you, I've experienced it, right? I may sound like that Christian, right? You go on those calls and it's the Christian that's the nuttiest person in the room. I get that. I've been there. I've asked God multiple times, why does this happen this way? However, I can tell you without a doubt that Jesus is real. I've had experiences with him. That's our hope, right? When it says that it's the things hoped for, we hope for all these things to happen, the evidence of not seen. So it's evidence of unseen things. It takes faith to believe that there's another side to what's happening. On the other side of this river, I'm going to get there. When Moses parted the Red Sea, can you imagine standing there as an Israelite, seeing this lake separate and walking through it? Because you've never seen that before. So faith is evidence in something you've never seen, and you're hoping for that faith that you've put all this into is going to happen. This is why faith in Jesus Christ is phenomenal, because he's always there. He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. Hebrews chapter 11 is that great faith chapter. That's what I keep talking about, right? I mean, if you can go through history and learn about people who put their faith in the wrong things. And when I say the wrong things, like people put their faith in the stock market. What happened in the 1930s when the stock market crashed? People were jumping out of windows because they put all their faith in something that disappeared. My encouragement today is all the stuff we talked about, all the crises and the struggles and the trauma and our OODA loops and how it can be defeating to us, and how we work with that is that faith comes in this huge moment where we put our faith in something bigger than ourselves. And my recommendation is that faith becomes into Jesus Christ. It's a simple prayer. The Bible says those who cry out are saved in their time of need. Sin separates us, right? That's a whole other discussion. Sin separates us from God, what sin is and all that stuff. That's a whole political phenomenal thing going on right now. But all I'm saying is that we are separated from Jesus. It takes a little bit of faith to believe that this guy you've never met before was nailed to a cross and 3 days later rose again to be on our side, to be an advocate for us, to be with us, to help us. It takes faith until you experience in him for yourself. And I'm hoping one day we can all get together and that can happen. But faith is truly what pulls us out. Even if it's faith that something on the other side exists, then I encourage you to put faith in something on the other side exists. You have to have faith, something bigger than yourself. And here's the power of faith. And I'll kind of end with this, probably a shorter one. As it goes on, and all these people of great faith, from Isaac and Moses and all this stuff. We're talking about Moses here. It says, by faith they passed through the Red Sea on dry land. Egyptians attempting to do it were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho, big city, fell down. They were encompassed for 7 days. By faith, this person they'd sent spies into this land. By faith, she was not the most desirable person because she was in a profession that we shouldn't be involved in, right? She was a prostitute at the time. But by faith, she had faith that if she held these spies, that she would be saved, and God saves her. It says, and what should I say more, for the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak, of Samson, of Jephthah, of David, huge, Samuel, and of the prophets. This is what happened by faith, of all the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fights, turned fights in the armies into aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again. And others. And it goes on and on and on of the power of what faith can do. If you're struggling, if you feel like that big giant ball of whatever is going to run you over and you feel like you're drowning, in 1 second, it takes 1 second to close your eyes and say, I have faith in you right now, Jesus. It takes 1 second to go, I have faith that there's something on the other side. 1 second turns into 1 minute. Several minutes turn into half an hour. Half an hour turns into an hour turns into several hours turns into a day turns into a week turns into a month. You see where I'm going with this? My encouragement is that you put faith in the creator of the universe. The guy that's in your corner all the time. Without faith, I find it impossible to get out of the hole, out of the darkness. You have to have faith. Faith in something bigger than ourselves. Faith in a belief and a hope that what I'm going through right now on the other side will be better. That could be a 5-minute process. That could be a 12-year process. But it's faith and hope that something on the other side, his name in my world is Jesus, is on the other side and things will get better. Like I said before, we don't have to always get over things, but we can definitely get through things. And when we get through to the other side, it's always going to be better. It makes you stronger. It increases your relationship with Jesus. It moves you forward. Have faith in something bigger than yourself. Be safe. Go home. Make a difference.